Go. All right. Where are we going? Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and this is Movie Crap. If you didn't hear me the first time, and it is Saturday night. I'm starting a little early, just for shits and giggles. I'm waiting to hear myself in the thing there. If it goes live, it should be live. It says we're live. Looks like we're live. Oh. All right. Oh, there we go. That sounds like me. What's up? It's Jim, and this is Movie Crap. Man, that guy talks. What's with the Fassbender? But I hardly knew her. That was good. Okay, hey, Purple Goop, Austin, Jordan Salafalo, Negrito, Tenfold, Ace the Wind Rider, Twisted Razor, Adrian Dwizzle, Bruce Parker, J723, Nathaniel Foga, Jordan Salafalo, again, maybe, I'm not sure, Zane Powers, Sunspot Mills, Zodberg, M Blood T, Chicken Soup, Cornbread, maybe, again, I'm not sure, Bruce Parker, Purple Goop, Robot, Rocket, Lobax, Sleepy Time 4, Cap Productions, I can hear you too. I mean, I can't, but metaphorically, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, bro? Does everyone know? I hope they do. I don't know if everyone... Yeah, anyway, is everyone having a good night tonight? I hope so. Oh, Buster's here with me. Buster, you want to go on the stream at the beginning? You do? Okay, let's burst out with Buster. Okay. Oh, Kevin James is Reed Richards. I love it. Hold on. Let me switch. Let's do the fade. Buster, hold still. Hey, and Buster's here at the beginning. Hey, Buster, you want to say hey? How are you feeling? You doing good? You're doing good? Yeah. That's the chat right there. Do you want to say hey to the chat? How long does the stream last? I usually go like 2 hours for a baby. This is... Buster. There we go. Chilly night out in Texas. Okay, should I put you down so I can do the super chat thing? Whoa, hold on. Buster. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. You okay? Okay. Sorry about that. He's going to the vet actually this week about that. I wasn't going to talk about that. And that's... Anyway, he's okay. Apologies for that. Sorry, it freaks me out and I have to calm him down. I think I did. Sorry. I worry about him. Sorry, I wouldn't have done that if that wasn't warranted. He's going to the vet on Monday. Okay, I'm sorry to start off like that. That's it. Okay, I think he's okay. I know his brother Toulouse was snuggling him. Okay, I'm sorry that was very serious, but it was something I need to do. I need to take care of him. Anyway, I don't know what to do about that tunerific Tariq thing. There, that seems very random to me. But anyway, I'm sorry. It's just, yeah, he's my cat. Anyway, let's get back to it. Apologies. Black Sea Oxywinkle, cheers to you. Kevin James as Reed Richards is a great idea. I haven't watched the Hot Ones yet. I've seen it is there. I am actually going to watch it. I did not have enough time today. But cheers to you. Or since it aired. I've had an interesting week. So, now you're going to hear me, the rest of the stream suddenly stopping and listening. I hope Tariq's doing well. I saw he was on Double Toasted. Good for him. Okay, so, kind of a weird week, I guess. We showed Sophie Sound of Music, which she was like about. I finally watched I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which I wasn't that big a fan on, and I'm like, I should probably do a review and like think out my thoughts more. And then, anyway, the big news, and if you're on Discord, you heard me talk about this. I was actually am going to be on a Arabic film show. This is real. Tales of Cinema, which is on a Arabic channel that airs in London. I don't know Arabic, by the way. If you didn't know, but I am going to. I'm talking about auteur theory. They asked me to come on. I didn't shoot that much stuff. It was like a couple minutes. It's actually in the other room, which is literally on the other side of this wall. And yeah, so that will only be in London on TV. I believe there'll be a link I can post. When I can do that, I will. But yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing. I never thought I would. I didn't know about that, and I didn't. I didn't expect. So that's going to be interesting. There'll be a whole push because I never get to do stuff like that or be like a talking head film critic person. I was just thinking like this week. I was like, that's like one of my things. I would really like to be like a film critic in a documentary and be like, yeah, well, Zack Snyder was kind of bullshit. No, Zack Snyder wants me, but yeah. So it's gonna be cool. When I can, if I can, and when I can post a link, I will. I'll probably have a picture. It'll probably be me talking and Arabic subtitles underneath. Thank you very much to them for having me on. So yeah, and we'll see. It's interesting. I think if you didn't know, the What is Auteur Theory video gets played a lot in film classes and to educate people on auteur theory, which is to speak on that a little, is super weird to me because, well, one, I've had like people who have worked on that walk by the classes who teach film and stuff, have walked by classes playing it, which is bizarre. It gets played like all the time for that, but it's also weird is because the second part is like auteur theory is bullshit and nobody plays that second part. I was thinking like, oh, okay, I did a second part to like not uphold the thing, so it's sort of weird that you're using this thing that I made to two parts to debate the whole theory of it and say you didn't. Anyway, that's fine, but whatever. That's always been my issue with how bigger that has got, honestly, is I was like, I did call foul. Anyway, sorry. But that's cool. Any Britain Arabic fans who are watching now, thank you for being here. And let's acknowledge Ryan. I'm sorry, Ryan. Ryan says, I'm late because the Wi-Fi was acting up in town. We called the hotline and they weren't great. Basically, a lot of stuff went down. Here's a pity buck. Thank you. Thank you for your pity bucks, Ryan. Cheers to you. And Ryan discovered something this week, and I was going to share it later, but it's a good one. Apparently, and it's buried at the end of an article. Sometimes in articles for Trades, Deadline does it a lot, and How to Report and Variety, they'll bury another thing. Apparently, there's a long gestating Alf reboot at HBO Max. So Ryan found that in a article about a reboot ahead of the class. So congrats to Ryan for figuring that out. That's awesome. And I'm glad Ryan got his Wi-Fi back. That's cool. Let me think. Anything else happened? Oh, yeah. So I saw the Free Britney thing. My only thing, and I tweeted about this a little, is I find it super bizarre that there's been all these YouTube videos about Free Britney that I thought were a lot better than the New York Times thing, and I kind of wonder. I mean, I think it's good we're talking about it, but I also kind of think, what's the point of them having such a platform and have so many resources and be able to broadcast if they're not going to be infinitely better? And I've been thinking about that a lot, actually, and people are bringing up the Onision documentary as well for that. So I'm kind of wondering if that's kind of a new media, old media thing, whereas like in new media, you constantly have to prove your research, prove your things, everything like that. And then in old media, you're like, well, we have the platform, so we can just like sum it up and do a few things. And I do think they did good. And it seems like most people in that Free Britney movement are happy about it. So if they're fine with it, I'm fine with it to a certain regard. But it is a question. I'm sort of thinking about that a bit. But the leave Britney alone person was definitely right. Alf community soaring to the moon. All right. We do have a lot to get to. We only have 2 segments tonight. Let me say that. With Wsndavision, of course. and No Neck Joe, which I think will be. I think that'll be cool. I think I was like talking about weird. Oh, hold on. I missed. He's gonna be my mom. It's gonna be my mom's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to Nathaniel Foga's mom. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Foga, and cheers to your mom. Have a birthday on Valentine's Day. That could be good, you know. So cheers to your mom. But anyway, there is kind of a lot to get to. But yeah, there's only No Neck Joe. No Neck Joe and WandaVision, the latest one. I think it's 6. And but yeah, hopefully we'll have more time for questions. And there's a lot to get to. There have been a lot of big things that have happened this week, I would say. But yeah. Let's put it, by the way, can the chat give a happy birthday to Nathaniel Foga's mom? Is that okay? Sorry if I'm always like, can the chat do this thing? But I think that's a positive thing. Could we do that for Nathaniel Foga's mom? She's a nice lady. I believe she helped get the Sophie We Bear Bears thing. If I'm incorrect on that, I apologize. But either way, she seems like a very wonderful woman. So happy birthday to you again. It was episode 6. Any update on the co-streaming with Izzy? The Arabic TV show fucked that up, and this week fell to shit, and that's what happened with that. Thank you, Austin, for reminding me about that, because basically what happened with that is the beginning of the week was kind of crazy, and then the TV show thing happened, and I wanted to like have all my answers ready and do a little bit of research just to get my thoughts, and I wanted to be good for that, and that ate up my time, and then it was like Friday. But I did, if Izzy shows up or if anyone asks her, I did DM Izzy and say, hey, I'm really sorry again. I am going to do stream it. It's harder because the day I usually just get to work on stuff. So if he's been home and stuff, so it's been a little more difficult lately, but that is something I need to do, and I will do. I'm going to try to do it for next week. We'll see. I mean, if Izzy is available as well. Izzy's got her own life. Anyway, but before we get into the real show, the whole show, and nothing but the show, is that how we should call it? That was weird. I don't know why I did that. That was like a very weird thing there. Oh, I didn't notice I could do that. That's interesting. I'll have to keep that. Can you scroll down? Anyway, I just noticed I could do the thing. Justice for Izzy. All right. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through Super Chat during the show or through my Patreon, which is linked below. The Patreon has all sorts of great features, including postcards, which I need to mail out next week, exclusive videos like my commentary series, and you learn how the exact vote totals for the movie review vote, Skype calls, everything like that. It's very interactive. It's, you get certain perks and everything like that, and it helps support the channel, as well as super chats during the show, and I will give a Red Bull cheers to you if you do that. If you're financially able to do so, I very much appreciate it if you can, to help support the channel. But if you can't, or if times are tough right now, if you could just give a like or a subscribe, or just continue watching and enjoying this content. Either way, thank you very much for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. But yeah, this is pretty much an entirely fan-run or fan-supported channel, and I thank you very much for your support, whether you can or not. It's always appreciated, and it helps me be able to make this stuff, and all this stuff in this stream, and get this new computer, and and get the accessories for the computer and all these things. So you've actually helped improve the channel, and the more the more support I get, the further the channel can grow. As well as the Discord. And I really got to sell the Discord, because we got a lot of cool stuff on the Discord this week. I talked about the Arabic TV show on the general chat, as well as Zodberg posted a zine from when I ran a college radio station. This is like never before really been put on the internet. Of content of mine and other people, including Mike Kroll, who's now an indie musician and stuff, and all the cool people who helped me run WSVA. That's a whole other story. I should do a video on that at some point. But you can check that out on the Discord, which is run incredibly well by Austin and Zane Powers. They do a great job. You can go to various different things, including the Ask Jim channel, where you can ask me questions anytime. If you don't get to do that during the show or in a comment, if you also want to ask me something, I try to answer everything. Suggestions for Jim. They do fan watch-alongs. They watch Promare, which is pretty cool. All sorts of stuff. There's lots of cool activities. If you see people in the chat and you're like, I would like to hang out with them, well, you can anytime on the Discord. It's there. It's a cool community. And I try to ask even like, hey, what do you want me to cover on the show? Things like that. So hang out there as well. It's just like a cool community and stuff like that. Yeah. Thanks, Sodberg. That was cool. That was actually cool. I don't know how many of the zines you have. We put out a couple. I have them somewhere. Maybe at some point. Yeah, Jim doesn't deserve the torture of watching Mulan. I was gonna... oh yeah, Mike Kroll was on. Yeah, that's how that happened, guys. I don't know if I guess I introduced him to Ian, but I don't know when him and Rebecca would have... Well, I mean, I guess I know the answer to that one. Yeah, I was planning on reviewing Mulan, and then the year kept going, and I will say I feel like I have a better handle on 2021 than 2020. It's like I'm still like trying to figure out stuff to review. I want to do all the HBO Max stuff. Hey Jim, Trump is guilty. I would agree, but I don't think that's what happened unless there's been some update. That would be awesome. But anyway, all right, let's get into the proper show, because we do have a lot of... I would say this was a big week for animation. This is a big week for people getting canceled. Nathaniel Foga said on my Twitter, he's like, it seems like everything got canceled. And it was like, I definitely like got up the thesaurus to figure out stuff. Oh, Will, this is very appropriate. Thank you, Will, for this transition and for your generous super chat. Said, much grief over the loss of Blue Sky. Definitely not the greatest library, but certainly unique. Shame Chris Wedge's enterprise ended so unceremoniously. Pneumonia, sorry, sounded so promising. I agree with you, Will. Cheers to you. And thank you for the generous super chat. That was very nice of you. I agree with you. So let's get into it. Blue Sky was shut down by Disney this week after all of the money that Disney has lost on theme parks, not having cruise lines, which they actually made a lot of money on, not having movie theaters. They've lost a ton of money, and they had to shut something down. Previously, Disney said, we are not going to shut down Blue Sky. We like having 3 major animation studios, which is very monopolistic. It's basically their monopoly. And they decided that they were just going to shut down Blue Sky. Blue Sky was considered the kind of New York animation studio. Most of the other studios are all in California. This was kind of surprising that Blue Sky had never done that. They moved, in fact, to Greenwich, Connecticut from White Plains, New York. And, it's sad because of the changing economics of COVID that Disney decided to do this. I know they've done certain things with the parks, like takeaway passes and things like that, but this is pretty major, and I don't expect this to be the end of it. I expect this to continue. I expect us to hear pretty bad things happening with like them moving things, canceling things like that. The bigger issue is I think it's pneumonia. Am I saying it right? Pneumonia? I have no clue. Am I saying no one's really pneumonia. Okay, pneumonia. Thank you. See, this is like every show ever, really. But pneumonia is 75% done. And even Tom Moore on Twitter, and I believe I retweeted it, said, like, what was going on that you're shutting down a film 10 months before it's finished? I agree. I thought that was pretty ridiculous. Like, why not let them finish it? Like, and just put it on Disney Plus or whatever. I also find it, it's sort of sad because Blue Sky, it felt like we're trying to get newer directors in. We're trying to switch things up. A lot of animation studios, especially ones with Disney, don't get to do that. And that might have been sort of an issue for them. I'm curious if, was the film like so bad or something, that they felt like, let's just scrap this whole fucking thing. I think it was purely financial, to be honest, but it's very sad that Blue Sky was just just shut down. I think that was very shocking. All like 400 people are out of work. We're not going to get this new movie. We're not going to see the potential Blue Sky. I believe in the Sabersparks video I worked on about Blue Sky, I believe we talked about how it looked pretty good. Future looked good for them, actually. I felt good about them. I like Spies in Disguise a lot. When Sophie and I saw it, we were actually like surprised how much we got into it. So, I was really hoping for them. I think it's sad. It's also interesting. One thing I noticed is Disney did not try to sell it, which I think was very telling of how they are. And they're developing a Ice Age show for Disney Plus, actually. But Will has another super chat there. Pulled a real mouse guard there. Patrick Osborne could have had a big break with that. That's true. Cheers to you, Will, again. And Zane Power says, it's not a good look. Naminia had LGBT elements. Is that true? Fuck. Anyway, cheers to you, Zane Powers. The thing, it's just shocking. It's terrible, but I do think so. Disney cared so much about the IP, they didn't want to sell Blue Sky. I think it would have made more sense to sell it, but I think what they probably, so here's the thing that's going to be interesting is Disney effectively probably wouldn't sell Blue Sky because they would have thought Netflix wouldn't buy it. Netflix and Disney are pretty much animation-wise fighting each other because Disney does not want to give the upper hand to Netflix at this point. But they fired everyone, and there's all these free animators, and Netflix is trying to build up their animation. Seems like there's a place we all know they're going to go. So, like, I don't know. They're not helping them get new jobs, apparently, reportedly. But I just find a lot of what they're doing to be utterly stupid. It's just like, finish the movie. Like, what's going on? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I think it is really sad. I'm not a fan of every Blue Sky film. I actually probably dislike a lot of them, but I just find what they did was pretty shameful. I'm disappointed in Disney on that one. So I hope that they I don't know, I'm curious what we'll find out about Nimona. I hope it comes out. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I think they should let someone shop it to another thing and complete the 10 months of production. That's what I think. No Rio 3. I don't think... Actually, Rio 3 could happen because Disney has all the rights to those. They could just make their own thing, unfortunately. But... Alright, so, Infinity Train. There's this constant thing about Infinity Train through the cartoon community, through everyone, that Infinity Train is canceled. Are we going to hear anything? The big news update, the big first news update is that in a sort of production yearbook that Owen Dennis posted on his Instagram, someone zoomed in on something and someone mentioned that the show was over. In a zoomed in picture on Instagram, there was also a cool like Sonic Youth, cover art that I actually thought was really cool. I don't know why we didn't zoom in on that shit. But then Kidscreen did contact Cartoon Network and ask, is Infinity Train canceled? And they said it is not canceled. It is not canceled. But we haven't had any update. And I think Zane Powers says, can't wait for Disney to make Rio 7. I'm sure they will. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. HBO Max did have a big animation announcement this week. And you would think that would be a part of it. Is of course isn't. We're going to talk about that later in the show. So here's the thing with shows. Networks cannot cancel something for as long as they fucking want because they own the rights to it. There's no rules and regulations on any of this stuff. Sometimes shows, like I was reading recently about how Strangers with Candy didn't get canceled, but they didn't get asked for new episodes and they sort of knew it. So they sort of made the episodes they wanted to make and sort of bounced. And Comedy Central didn't ask for more. They didn't ask for more. And everybody, walked away from each other. And it was technically not canceled. That happens. There's all sorts of weird shit that happens with network rights. To my understanding, Infinity Train is sort of a priority for them. They might just be waiting. They might just be waiting for Owen Dennis to open up. There might be more to it. But there's nothing that is official to say the show is over as of like right now. So I don't think it looks good at all. I think it doesn't look good at all right now for Infinity Train. But I don't think there's a sign. This like, here's the thing: is like what I find weird about this thing with Infinity Train. If you want to, as someone who is part of a fan base who brought back their show 2 times, by the way, you buy a trade ad, a big one that everyone has to look at, which Mystery Science Theater fans did. Do that. Trending on Twitter or TikTok, nobody cares. Just like do something that's going to do that. But whatever. Let's move on. It's just like, I'm just like sick of the whole discourse with it because it just feels like people are just like, and like, I like the show, but it's like, let's just chill until like something's happening. It just feels like a lot of misplaced energy, if you ask me. So there. Disney says they still plan to release Black Widow in theaters. Supposedly Kevin Feige does not want to release it as a premium access whatever thing with Disney Plus. Supposedly a lot of people don't want them to do that, and so Black Widow has not moved its date, and as well as there's been a lot of talk, what's a trade ad? Okay, that's a good point, Austin. I will answer that. A trade ad would be an ad in Hollywood Reporter or Variety. So I guess at this point nobody reads the print versions of those, so you would have to buy like a big ad that's very noticeable on those websites for like that day or something like that. So they bought like a trade ad that's in the magazine, so it would say fans love Mystery Science Theater sort of thing, and so everyone would see it. That's basically what a trade ad is. So you have to, basically the trades would be Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, and Variety. Those are the major trades of the entertainment industry. I think Ace the Wind Rider posted something, but I can't read it right now, but I will read it during the break. But anyway, so we're having this debate over when theaters will open up. It seems the primary people for those debates seem to be Black Widow and Fast and Furious 9, which are coming out in May. Black Widow will be coming out early May. Fast and Furious will be coming out around Memorial Day. I do not think theaters will be open by then. I used to be optimistic about these things. To me, it's not happening until August, September. Those films need to move. I think if I was... Fast and Furious is a little more complicated because Universal with Peacock does not, I think they could put it on Peacock, but it doesn't seem like they really want them. They want to do that and the industry doesn't want to do that. That's fine. I get that. I think that'll just get delayed another year probably. It get an ad in 2 Super Bowls, which is weird. But I think Black Widow should go to Disney Plus and have the premiere access thing with theaters. I think it would be healthy for the theaters that are open. We still need to worry economically about those, and you can still have it in theaters, but also have it on the premiere access thing. I'm curious if they apparently need to make up their minds in the next few weeks. What happens in the next few weeks is Raya and the Last Dragon. I'm very curious how that is going to perform, and I think depending on that, we could see Disney's future with the premiere access thing, which I think is highly possible. So let's get into one of the things that's on the thumbnail for this video. Gina Carano was finally fired from Star Wars after so many offensive social media posts. And the thing with Gina Carano is, I agree Disney should fire, and if any company wants to fire someone for behavior like that, they are allowed to. But if you really get into this situation, you get into her entire career, she has been given so many opportunities that no other actress has ever been given. She had an entire action vehicle directed for her by Steven Soderbergh. That's why you know who she is. I know she was an MMA fighter before, but Steven Soderbergh sort of plucked her out of the MMA world, made her into a movie star. Haywire is a great movie, but the star of Haywire is Steven Soderbergh, not Gina Carano. He made that. Channing Tatum's name, Michael Fassbender, Michael Douglas, Antonio Banderas. That cast is crazy, and she's great because she has amazing co-stars all throughout. And then she went into the VOD world. She was in Fast and Furious 6, and you didn't see much from her after that. And Jon Favreau actually brought her back and gave her acting lessons because no one thought she could act and wanted to put her in the Star Wars universe. And gave her a chance. And basically what happened with the social media posts is Disney had contacted her representatives at first and said, look, she needs to tone it down. This needs to calm down. And it's not so much, I hear all this stuff about conservative views with her, like she was canceled for conservative views. It's not like she said, like, hey guys, nobody have sex till they're married. Like, that wasn't what was going on. Like, it was like hateful stuff. It was like she was attacking people. She was being discriminatory. I think there's a difference between being conservative, just sending your conservative views. Like, the thing is, like, if she just said, even though I don't agree with it, if she just said vote for Trump and, don't have sex till you're married and, some NRA thing, I don't think this would be the issue it is. But the fact that she keeps antagonizing people, in addition, the fact that she was asked by Disney several times to stop doing this, a lot actually, and then the Cara Dune, it was originally going to be a solo show supposedly. Then the Rangers of the New Republic she was going to be a part of that show, and the Cara Dune thing was completely not mentioned at the Disney Investors thing because they started to roll back immediately. But there was a meeting with her supposedly with top Disney brass. I'm like, you need to stop this after November. They were like, this needs to stop immediately. And she kept doing it, and she said something about, basically like how conservatives are like how the Jews were treated in the Holocaust. Just really stupid stuff. I didn't actually read it, to be honest with you, but I know she's fired. Although I enjoy Haywire, and I did enjoy the few things I've seen her in, I think she was a very entitled actress who had a lot of chances, and I'm not trying to be shitty to her or anything like that, but it's just a fact that she's had so many chances, and the fact that she's squandering this, and this was her big comeback. It's just like, you know what? I've heard so many cinephiles be like, look, I love Haywire. I love her in this thing, but like this, I don't want to have anything. I don't want to see her in any more stuff. Like, why can't she be quiet? And especially because Disney kept trying to work this out, and a lot of people brought up the James Gunn, like, hey, James Gunn got canceled right away, and Roseanne got canceled right away. The difference, I think, is Disney has changed their policy on these things, and has basically said, like, look, we want to work this out. We don't want to just fire people. And the fact that they kept warning her and kept going to her agency, and her agency dropped her too, because they've been in these Disney meetings, and they're like, what the fuck? Who's worse, Roseanne Barr or Gina Carano? I would actually say Gina Carano, because choose to use same powers. Because she was giving, she said Alderaan things in Alderaan places. Cheers to you, Ryan. Anyway, that was really good, Ryan. I just think she's been giving a lot of chances. She has supposedly signed a deal with Ben Shapiro's The Daily Wire, which we did talk about with the film that they acquired. They have not actually made stuff. I want to preface that. A lot of these streamers do that where they'll buy rights to stuff a lot and then they'll eventually figure out how to make stuff. I'm assuming that's what he's doing. We'll see what happens with the Daily Wire Gina Carano thing. I'm sure it'll be awful. I don't think she realizes the top talent she had making her image and making who she was. And I think we're going to see a return to the shitty VOD things that she was doing between Fast 6 and The Mandalorian. So, but oh well. So the Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire are not in Spider-Man 3. Maybe he's lying. I've heard from pretty confirmed reporters on podcasts and on Twitter. They're pretty much running with that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are coming to the Marvel Universe or in a cameo thing. But here's the thing. Maybe he's not wrong. What would be, and hear me out on this, what would be cooler for the MCU? Would it be cooler to see 3 Spider-Men in a Spider-Man movie, or 3 Spider-Men in a Sam Raimi directed movie. That's my theory. That theory makes total sense. Let Sam Raimi do the multiverse. See, in that case, Tom Holland's not lying. He's not lying at all. I don't know if anyone said that. I don't know. But I'm just saying I think that could happen. Also, Tom Cruise. What? I don't understand that, but whatever. Can't wait to see her team up with Kevin Sorbo. Austin, ain't that the truth? Anyway, cheers to you. All right, so now we'll get into the HBO Max stuff. What about Kevin James? Is Kevin James in Doctor Strange 2? He should be. I feel like Sam Raimi would get our Kevin James joke. I don't know. I don't think Sam Raimi watches the show. If you are, Sam, how's it going? Anyway, Evil Dead 2 is awesome. All right, so HBO Max did do a pretty major animation dump, and it shows that they are serious about animation. I will say it does seem like that's a priority for them. Animation seems to be becoming a bigger and bigger thing. I did see that there was a Wallace and Gromit thing, an Aardman thing today, which Ryan did send me. I did not get to read it, but that they are probably going to do more stuff with CG. I will get into that more next time, because I didn't get to really read it and I didn't want to do the wrong thing. But anyway, here are the stories. Here are the things that got announced from the HBO Max thing. First was a Velma spinoff from Mindy Kaling. It is a 10-episode origin story. Mindy Kaling will star and produce and write it. There was, of course, a tweet of someone saying no, and of an Office meme, and she was like, "It's funny because I wrote the episodes that GIF is from." So that's pretty funny. That could be interesting. She doesn't. At first, I'm like, well, that's not very Velma to me, but I feel like she's going to do it in a different way. And I was thinking about shows she's written by herself. I saw the one where John McEnroe is narrating a teenage girl or something. I don't really remember what that show's called, but that was kind of fun. I was like, you know what? I bet a Velma show from her would be a good show. I'm curious what the origin of Velma would be. I don't know, but I'm open to it. I'll watch an episode. I'll give you that. Clone High. I maybe apologize for putting Clone High in the thing, but I know people like Clone High. I don't know. But the Clone High revival is going to be at HBO Max. Sorry, this is a surprise because you would have thought it would be on Paramount Plus, because Viacom is pushing so many of their past IP. I was surprised about the HBO Max deal. I know Paramount was for a while trying to sell things out to other streaming services. I don't know. Hello, I am Sam. I am Raimi hacking Mr. Brian Walter Daughter's account to tell you I have deep pockets. I produce the geek shows you love. Hello, I am Sam. Let me do that again. Hello, I am Sam. I am Raimi hacking Mr. Brian Walter Daughter's account to tell you I have deep pockets. That's funny, Ryan. Sorry, it took me a minute. Cheers to you, Ryan. Or Sam, or both. Anyway, this has been giving 2 seasons. I believe it'll end up in this revival having more episodes than the original, possibly. But it is interesting this wound up at HBO Max and not Paramount Plus, especially because of all the hype this got. This probably would have been a win for Paramount Plus, to be honest with you. But it's at HBO Max. It's probably best for, maybe that was a Phil Lord and Chris Miller thing. I'm a little surprised because Clone High was between Viacom and Disney, right? Didn't Disney own some rights to it? And now it's at Warner's. This is such a weird property. Whatever. It's supposed to be sort of a modern refresh of the original, not a sort of a continuation sort of thing. But I don't know what that's going to be at this time. We don't really know that much about it. Yeah. I shouldn't have had Buster come to should have rubbed my face on a fluffy cat before I have to talk. for too long. The one show people aren't talking about of the announcement of HBO Max was Fired on Mars. Hails from the creators Nate Sherman and Nick Vokey. It is described as an existential workplace comedy set on the Martian campus of a modern tech company. Pete Davidson voices a character, not the lead character. Interesting they made that distinction. We'll see. And executive produces with people I've never heard of. But that is another show they're doing. Maybe Pete Davidson is probably the star, but I noticed they didn't come out and say that. So maybe that's something to read into. He might just be the guy who was attached first. As well as a Close Enough Season 2 trailer. Close Enough is coming out February 25th on HBO Max. I like the trailer a lot. It really gets a lot of the kind of parental stuff. I do feel like J.G. Quintel seems to make films about my life as it's going on. It's very relatable. The thing about the back, I've definitely had that because I have to carry stuff at work and carry Sophie and everything. It's kind of crazy. So I definitely felt that. Various, the kid party thing, kids just randomly hitting me in the nuts. Kids think that's really funny. It's not funny. It's not funny for me. So a lot of that felt very close to home, and I thought it was a good trailer, and I'm excited for Close Enough Season 2. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm surprised it's coming out so quickly, but we also got a Season 3 renewal, so at least a lot of people are saying we know we're getting 2 more seasons. I thought we knew we were getting Season 2. That's a weird wording, but they have been renewed for a 3rd season at least. So that's kind of neat. It seems like it's going pretty well for Close Enough, which is good for them. Let's get into some Super Bowl stuff. No, let's talk about Sonic 2. So Sonic 2 was announced. All we know really is it's called Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And the Tails is involved, which we already knew, and we heard music from the Sonic 2 game, so I'm assuming it's going to reference the Sonic 2 game a bunch. That's we don't really know much else. It seems like everyone's coming back. We have heard things about the voice of Sonic that had been in lots of the games has recently, I guess, been let go, and there are rumors that Ben Shapiro could come into that. It seems like Ben Shapiro, not Ben Shapiro, oh my god, Ben Schwartz, sorry. Wrong Ben. Ben Schwartz has been asked about voicing Sonic the Hedgehog in the various games and all the other properties like a normal like the normal voice of Sonic did, but it doesn't sound like he's sort of interested in that. That makes sense. He has a movie career, so I'm seeing the chat go, Ben Shapiro, no. It doesn't sound like he's interested in doing that. He has an action career and a movie career and all that stuff. The Jason Momoa's Knuckles thing, from my understanding, was probably announced a little too early. We'll see if it actually happened. We'll see if that actually happens. I have not heard anything real confirmable on that. But those are sort of all the Sonic 2 news. Just very little tidbits. To me, it's okay, it's the Sonic 2 I thought it would be. Nothing too crazy. The Michael B. Jordan Without Remorse, which we've been hearing will go to Amazon forever, but the deal wasn't official. The deal's official. It's coming to Amazon. It's based on a Tom Clancy Rainbow Six thing. It's coming out on April 30th on Amazon Prime, and it seems like Michael B. Jordan has signed a first look deal with Amazon, so it does seem like he's moving over there, going to be more associated with that studio and that company, which seems to be where it's going. So why not? But if you heard about Without Remorse before, you can now see it on April 30th. And now let's just get into the various Super Bowl things, because there was a Super Bowl 6 days ago, so this is relevant, I guess. The Fast 9 trailer, which is interesting to be a film that's been advertised on 2 different Super Bowls. It seemed like most of the movie ads said, which there weren't a lot, both said coming to theaters, but not an actual date. So they're not out, they're not saying a date that they can't meet, which is we've seen since the Tenet thing, so that's not too crazy. Fast 9 didn't look as surprising because I've seen the other trailer like a year ago, so it's felt very anticlimactic. The old trailer from M. Night Shyamalan, to be honest, I find that whole concept really creepy. I don't think I'd see it because it just like really freaks me out. Like that family goes and they all get older, and like they're all dying, and I think the daughter's like giving birth or something. It's like what, I don't know what was going on there. I don't usually get freaked out by horror trailers, but that was one I was like not really was not into actually seeing that. I was like, that looks just horrifying to me. That doesn't look like, I'm fine with stabby stab, less like dying fast. I guess that's the same thing. I don't know. I don't want to see that. And then Falcon and Winter Soldier, we saw the trailer for that. That was probably one of the most fun trailers. I know that was the one that was trending the most, seemed to be getting the most, I guess, I don't know, getting the most shares, getting the most talk about it. It was a fun trailer. It wasn't really that much to talk about. I wish we would have seen like who the U.S. government wants to be Captain America and things like that. But it looked like a fun show, so I think people are down with it. And the other things were the Edward Scissorhands trailer, the Edward Scissorhands commercial with Timothy Chalamet and Winona Ryder. That was a fun trailer, a fun commercial. Sorry, I liked. I don't know. It was a nifty little thing. Very quick enough that you don't have to think about like sort of how stupid it is. I talked about Wayne's World last week, but I enjoyed the Wayne's World thing. Again, I don't know. I watched that before. Or we talked about it last week, I believe, because it had come out. Then the DoorDash thing, which was ridiculous, that DoorDash apparently paid. They said in the commercial that they donated $1 million to Sesame, to Children's Television Workshop or Sesame Workshop. And then we found out that they paid $5 million to play that ad. So they essentially paid $5 million to tell us they donated $1 million, which is interesting. I know DoorDash and a lot of those companies don't have the best reputation for giving cuts to the actual restaurants and things like that. I don't know. I don't not really use DoorDash that much. I've never heard great things about them, but that's pretty ridiculous to spend $5 million for to tell people about $1 million. You could have not done that. Does it? The Super Bowl is so weird to me. I just don't get the whole thing now. I did watch some of the Puppy Bowl. That was cute. And I watched the Weeknd's performance, and that was kind of cool. I was sort of into that. I'm not very passionate about the Weeknd, but I listen to him occasionally, and that was it was fine. I like the people with the weird masks thing. I thought that was a good workaround for COVID stuff. I don't know how COVID safe that whole thing was, or that whole, like, it looked like the stadium was packed. I don't know how safe that was. Anyway, and okay. So, the Joss Whedon allegations that came out, or not really allegations, we just learned more about how awful Joss Whedon is again. This time from Charisma Carpenter, who played Cordelia on both Buffy and Angel, kind of revealing a thing in an Instagram post, which a lot of that had been known for a while. I've known about it since, I forget when, but it feels like forever ago that it's been sort of known that she was let go of Angel because she was pregnant. And she wasn't treated very well, and I think most people assumed it was an executive because no one could believe feminist Joss Whedon could be anything but awful. Like for real, that's not even a joke. And then other people came out, like Sarah Michelle Gellar was supporting Charisma Carpenter, but sort of just wanted to, she supported them. She loved Buffy Summers, but wanted to be sort of left alone. Michelle Trachtenberg came out and actually said she couldn't be left in the same room. There was a rule Joss couldn't be left in a room alone with her, which took a couple days to really get traction. But when I read that, I was pretty horrified. I was like, oh my God, like, so the guy who's making a show for teens couldn't be in a room alone with the teenager, and everyone thought that was a good idea for him to keep making those shows. Wow. Eliza Dushku also supported the victims. We've heard things from various people. A lot of people saying they stand with Ray Fisher. I think, and a lot of people brought up that, like, how come there was this sort of break when suddenly, like, after Age of Ultron, which was still, $1 billion movie, Joss Whedon, had one of the few directors to have two films gross over $1 billion. Why he wasn't getting a lot of work, and what was known of his behavior in Hollywood. And I think there's a lot of questions about that currently. And no one from the cast of the Avengers has come out against him or said anything, or saying I stand with Ray Fisher, which is interesting. I'm curious about that. I'm curious when someone from either of the Avengers films speaks out about it, or what happened there, because I don't think there was, like, he was super good and not a shitty person on the set of the Avengers movies, because I don't know if I'd believe that at this point. It just seems like it was always this toxic work environment. It was always awful. Apparently, Freddie Prinze Jr., who's married to Sarah Michelle Gellar, commented in an interview years ago that she had to deal with a lot of terrible toxic behavior on the set of that show. We don't know what happened, but it sounds like, regardless of, I think the Ray Fisher thing has become kind of just this thing it shouldn't have, because I think he said certain things about Joss Whedon, but then he's brought up other people, and he didn't do what Charisma Carpenter did, and here's a ton of allegations, and no one's questioning her. I think it's more that he just keeps doing that thing where he doesn't mention all of the allegations and then brings more people into it. I just wish, again, I think that the whole thing with him needs to be, apparently even his representatives, I keep reading, want him to either do a big dump or of a big info dump of what happened there, or just sort of leave it alone, and because it's sort of hurting his career, unfortunately. But I think it's important that all these people did stand with him about the allegations, that apparently people were helping with this Warner investigation, which now I'm very curious what happened there. But he was let go of The Nevers, which is supposed to premiere soon, and he was involved in the first season at least. So we'll see. And Marty Noxon also, who's very much a Joss Whedon writer, has also commented on him. So it does seem like this has been going on for a long time. I'm curious what's going to continue to happen, because it seems like more and more people are coming out with allegations, are agreeing or supporting the victims, or supporting Ray Fisher. And I'm glad more people are, because I think, again, and I stand with Ray Fisher. I will say that I definitely, I'm not trying to say he's lying or something. It's more of how he's communicating and less of what he's communicating. I just want to, and I think most of the journalists and stuff who have said that as well, that they just wish he would do it in a better way. But I'm glad that other people are coming up. Maybe he can't legally, which I also wish he would say, to be honest. But I'm glad other people are trying to back him up to, take down Joss Whedon, which I don't think he should ever work ever again. After this, and it's interesting, he hasn't made any statements. And I was reading a lot about, because I guess there's been a lot of people sort of canceled over the past week or so, and how we hear things about Armie Hammer in particular. Supposedly there's going to be a big revelation, big story about him, even more worse stuff that we keep hearing hyped, which we have not seen. The article hasn't dropped yet. But it's interesting, when the Shia LaBeouf stuff happened, apparently he's been very apologetic, and he actually asked to leave his agency, whereas everyone else hasn't apologized, has to be fired. So it's interesting how people handle these things, because I was reading about the Shia LaBeouf. I was like, oh, didn't really have any respect for Shia LaBeouf, and suddenly I do have respect for Shia LaBeouf, because he handled it like an adult. He contacted them and said, I think I should take a break, and I think, which, and the agents don't have to do that. They can just fire you, and or communicate that that's how it happened. So credit to him, at least. I don't think he's a great person, but at least he's being a little more proactive. And, I think regardless of when you do those things, you should at least own up to your mistakes. And it sounds like he is. So I hope he gets treatment. It sounds like he's actually working on it. So kudos to him. I will say that. Anyway, let's get into video game casting, which I don't really understand. So I don't know if you totally come here to hear me talk about. Hey, Medela Butterfly, you totally came here to hear me talk about video game stuff, I'm sure. This is so thrilling. But The Last of Us, I wanted to say about both these things. We're getting two major video game castings and major video game projects, which studios are putting a ton of money into, which is surprising. So I'm curious what's going on with video game stuff, because we've heard some rumors about Mario, which I'm not going to talk about because they're not really official and we don't know what's going on. So let's not get into that. But, so Last of Us had major casting from Pedro Pascal playing the dad in The Last of Us, which I guess that's a major part, as well as Bella Ramsey, who apparently is in Game of Thrones. I sort of remember that, but she is mainly known as the voice of Hilda, which is 100% where I know her from. Do we need to explain what video games are, Chef? No, you don't. Hey, Izzy, how's it going? I'm glad Izzy's here after I talked about all the creepy canceling stuff. So Izzy, you found a great time. You saw Wally's Wonderland, and I totally want to see that. So I'm excited. From what Izzy said on Twitter, it sounds fun. Anyway, so yes, Pedro Pascal's playing Joel. He seems to be doing concerned dad people with where he, helps Hilda. So maybe it's like a sequel. I don't know. And then Borderlands casting, which is an Eli Roth directed thing, and has Jack Black and Cate Blanchett, who are also in the House with a Clock in Its Walls, which I didn't see, but it seems like Eli Roth is sort of changing up what he's doing. It also has Kevin Hart and Jamie Lee Curtis. That sounds like a cool movie to me. I don't really know what Borderlands is, but Lionsgate is heavily invested in that. So it seems like we are getting these major video game things. I hope it works out. I don't want it to be like what 2016 was supposed to be, which would be the year of video game movies. We'll see what's going on there. You want me to explain Last of Us? Is it like a dad and a daughter going through post-apocalypse thing? How is that different from The Road? I'm confused about any of this. Anyway, so My Little Pony is going to debut a movie on Netflix. What this movie is basically is a movie, sort of a continuation on Friendship is Magic, with newer characters coming and kind of passing the torch to a new generation. I guess a legacy sequel or whatever. I know that show is on Netflix. That's how most of Sophie's friends watch it, actually. I think more people are probably watching MLP from Netflix currently than probably watching it on the hub or whatever. So it's Paramount sold this to Netflix. Sounds like a good idea, honestly. I think there's no way they're going to make the same amount of money. Also, no offense to my brony brethren or whatever, but I don't think that, I think, that we got kind of a big, when the last BronyCon happened, we had a big outpouring of support for that fan base, but effectively that fan base is sort of like not going to be what it was. So I think that's probably a better thing to do. I'm not trying to talk shit, but it's just like, it kind of was like, that was very much the end, it looked like. And even Jenny Nicholson did that video. The hub is dead, isn't it? The hub is dead? Okay, the hub's dead. Well, but I'm saying more people probably watch it on Netflix now than did watch it on the hub, right? Is that what I'm saying? Anyway, who knows what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know why people listen to me, but yeah, it sounds like a good deal for Netflix. It sounds like a good deal for the franchise, which has always been making stuff. It's not like it was the 80s and then recent. There was a 90s thing. There's always conventions. Seems like a good way to continue the brand, and I'm sure little girls and Sophie will love it and all that stuff. I don't actually hate. See, here's the thing. I won't review any of the My Little Pony stuff because I had a long thing about it where I never wanted to really see it because actually Izzy was with me when I saw it at MomoCon for the first time. The second MomoCon in 2019 is the first time, and Izzy looked at my face and was like, "Is this the first time you saw it?" I was like, yeah, yep. I've seen it a lot more now because Sophie's made me watch it. Um, do you think bronies should be allowed to get married? Izzy, this is a very... this is... I don't know. Do you think bronies should be allowed to get married? I feel like this is political and I don't want to get canceled for denying bronies. But anyway, um, Sponge on the Run is out of Oscar consideration, which I've seen a lot of people say, like, oh, Paramount pulled it, things like that. It's not really that dramatic. Oscar consideration has to be in America. And since Sponge on the Run is opening in March, that is out of, even with the newer Oscar window, that pushes it out of the Oscar window. So that means it will now have to be in the next one. It shouldn't have been on the short list. They should have corrected, and it sounds like they went, we sort of messed up. Sorry, guys, and then took it out. So that's sort of what it is. It's sort of a mistake thing. That's sort of what's going on. So it's not... Paramount didn't, like, lose faith in it. They just went like, oh, hey, guys, I think we... originally it was a different thing, and then, like, we announced this, and, like, so you could just, like, take that out. That'd be cool. My favorite, I see a lot of, it was in Paleo Injects. That was true. My favorite was Apple Clumps. That's what I would say. Apple Clumps. That sounds like someone who's the thing. So Chapelle Show is now back on Netflix. It's because Dave Chappelle worked out a deal with Comedy Central, which gives him millions of dollars. Although I don't necessarily agree with that a guy who has over $100 million needs more millions of dollars. I will, because that's really what this is. This is a guy who's exceedingly wealthy, very rich. He doesn't really need more money, but that's not what this is about. I understand that. He is a guy who, basically the Chapelle Show, which has made tons on DVD, is constantly syndicated, is always making money, and he wasn't making much on it. And he was able to, through his platform and through power, get those rights back that he rightfully should have had. I hope someone else gets to do that because of the precedent he set. I think it was a good precedent to set. If it was just like a millionaire wanting millions of dollars, like whatever, but I agree. I agree with that precedent being set. So I hope other people who are able to do that can do that in the future. That's how I look at it. That's what I think. Laika has signed a deal with Shout Factory actually to deal with their library titles, which is good for Laika because I believe those movies should get good home video releases, through Blu-ray and so forth. And Shout Factory is really good at that, and they're good at pushing their stuff and everything. And I think and Laika deserves it. So congrats to Laika stuff. Dan Harmon has with his Fox deal, which this will be, again, to clarify with the Fox stuff, because I think people get a little confused, and it is confusing. I'm not going to say people shouldn't be confused. You should be confused. You should always be confused. No, is that this is signed to the new Fox, not the Disney Fox. The channel is an untitled series set in mythical ancient Greece. It centers on a flawed family of humans, gods, and monsters that tries to run one of the world's first cities without killing each other. And they're targeting a 2022 debut. So that's basically what's going on. With that, we'll probably hear more Dan Harmon shows, but it sounds like Fox is invested in Dan Harmon. I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel The Simpsons soon, but for right now, it sounds like that is the first of the deal. We don't know what the show is called. It's just an ancient Greece comedy show. So whatever. Make pony vlogs. Maybe I will with this one. Maybe since I've already watched it, Sophie has a pony stuffed animal, which everyone at the convention is called plushies, but I was like, why are you, it's a stuffed animal, why do you guys call it that? That's so weird to me. Is Dan and Justin still making Rick and Morty? To my understanding, they are, but that is a question I have thought as well. So the face off, we first heard it was a remake from Adam Wingard. We find out it is actually from his Instagram. He said, I would never make a remake. It is a follow-up sequel thing. I don't know what that means. And I kind of am into this because I think Adam Wingard, the best movie I thought he's made is The Guest. and I like him as an action director. So I'm sort of okay with him making a sequel. But I also am like, dude, could you just make your own thing? Like everything's been a property, and I don't think I like any of it as much as The Guest and You're Next. I wish you'd just go back to doing something like that. That's much better. So the Critics' Choice Awards thing happened this week. There are lots of awards. Minari is a movie you should probably see. It's really great. I'm going to have a review out next week, actually. That's a film that got a big push from those, as well as like Chicago 7, Nomadland, the typical Oscar things, blah, 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 whatever. But the big thing with the Critics' Choice Awards is we found out that they're not going to have a Best Animated Feature category during the main awards. They have separated animation as well as various other genres, as they call it, and put animation into a different genre. What's even worse is they already did the animation awards and said they were the Critics Super Awards and sort of totally tricked all of us into thinking that that would totally be different. Don't worry, guys. And they kind of fucked us over there. I had a tweet about animation isn't a genre, it's a medium this week. Maybe you saw it, whatever. I find it discouraging that a Critics' Choice Awards, which a lot of people are talking about how great they were and how they should have a TV deal post the Golden Globes thing. I don't feel the same way now. This is, by the way, there has not been this whole award season that is starting right now. There has not been a single awards announcement that hasn't sucked in some way. I've never seen. This is the worst award season I've ever seen. The Oscar nominations are going to be terrible. I am 100% on this. It is going to suck so bad. The fact that, like, seriously, it's like the Golden Globes were awful. The SAGs were awful. It's just like, where's Spike Lee? Where's Del Rey Lindo? Where it's like did you not see what happened with George Floyd this year? We're not doing that, and then we're acting like animation is a genre, not a medium as well. It is like, can you guys, like, how are you all so bad at doing all of this? Zane Power says animation may not be a genre, but foreign films are. I agree with the Zane Powers thing. And I've wanted to talk about this for a while, is foreign film is so not a genre or such a thing. It gets teach a whole class in just foreign film, but it's like, that doesn't, all that means is like not made in America. That's not, anyway, cheers to you, Zane Powers. We'll see what happens, but it's just like Jared Leto's going to win everything. They're just going to be like, Jared Leto, come up here. Best supporting actress. You're just so great. We love you, Jared Leto. Did you think in 2021 Jared Leto would be nominated for things? People keep asking me what my favorite pony is. I told you it's Apple Clumps. I don't know what. Anyway, oh man, there's like too many things. Too many cooks. So the Powerpuff Girls reboot has gotten a pilot order. That's sort of all there is to say. It sounds like it is happening. They are making a pilot. We'll see if it goes from there, but it is moving along through development. The other thing is there is a reimagining of Wizard of Oz happening. Nicole Kessel, who was the director on Watchmen, won the DGA award for directing Watchmen, the HBO show, is directing a thing called The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Here's my thing. Oh, here we go. My favorite ponies are, by the way, whatever Ryan is going to have me read here, I have no clue if any of this is real or not. So I'm just going to read it, and you can laugh, because I don't know if it's a joke or not. My favorite ponies are Horace Horsecollar, Flicka, Quick... Okay, I do get this. Flicka, Quick Draw, Bojack, Maximus, Bullseye, Warhorse from Warhorse, Swiftwind, and the TriStar logo. Actually, the TriStar logo is my favorite pony. Cheers to you, Ryan. Sorry I was stupid before I read this. Cheers to you. I think we're killing a Red Bull. We're killing a Red Bull. That's good. We got two. Okay, we have a Zane Powers. Jared Leto comes up dressed as Joker for his award. Oh, God. Oh, I have a thing about... Hold on. We do Austin's. Austin can't be worse when Franco and Hathaway hosted. I think it can be. I'm predicting a really awful Oscars. Cheers to you. Everyone. Thank you, Austin Zane Powers. I want to say, okay, so I saw the Jared Leto. I don't know if we talked about this last week. I don't think we did. So there was a thing. So I saw the Jared Leto in the Snyder Cut photos, which were stupid. And he has long hair now. What it reminded me of, if you, I don't know how much any of you knew alternative rock in the 90s, but so there was a thing when Metallica cut their hair and tried to be slick mid 90s guys and did, and Alice in Chains had this thing where it's like they showed up with their slick haircuts. They didn't have long hair. And during Alice in Chains Unplugged, one of them had on their bass, wrote on their bass, this is true, friends don't let friends get friends haircuts, like making fun of Metallica. And when I looked at old Jared Leto Joker and new Jared Leto Joker, I was like, it's like reverse Metallica. It's like he went from Load to the Black Album. So is he like evolving in the right way? I don't even know. It's so weird. Anyway, that's a thing I had to share with someone, I guess. Anyway, back to the Wizard of Oz thing. They're opening a new Red Bull from ToonJ723. There are 14 Oz books. Only 3 of them have been adapted. Cheers to you. I agree with that, and I wanted to get into that, actually. So, one thing about this Wizard of Oz thing, which is at New Line, is because it is Warner's, they are actually able to use things like the ruby red slippers and things like that, although it's going to be primarily based on the books. I agree that the problem with the whole Oz properties is everyone wants to do something that is referencing the 1939 film. But what I find completely bizarre about that is if you took any film from classic Hollywood that is considered one of the greatest films ever made, whether it be The Godfather or Citizen Kane or Casablanca or anything like that, and you talked about anything with a remake, people would start screaming heresy. But for some reason in Wizard of Oz, totally cool, which I don't really get that, because that might be my vote for like best film ever made. I think because you can show it to anybody can like it. It can be it's just like, it's a very easy narrative to get into. It's really wonderful. It's very hard not to like. It's a wonderful movie, and I just don't, in my mind, you could never approach that. Why not make one of the Oz things that have nothing to do with Dorothy? Like, why not do that? Like what Toonjay was saying, there's 14 books I think that Frank L. Baum was involved with, but I know there's tons and tons of others. Like, I don't know, unless you have an amazing take, but to me, it's just like, there's no way you're going to be better than that original film. To me, this is a terrible idea. So Sean Baker, who is a filmmaker who I am a fan of, he did the Florida Project and Tangerine, and he has a new project that we finally learned about. We sort of heard about this through the that OnlyFans controversy. She mentioned this, and apparently she's not. They said this wasn't really what it was, but now that I'm gonna read this description, I forgot what her name was. Anyway, clearly didn't make a dent on me, but it turned out what she described it as is probably true. But this is Sean Baker's new film. It's called Red Rocket. It is a darkly comedic film about Mike Saber, a 39-year-old suitcase pimp that is the kind of pimp who lives off women in the adult film industry. Finding himself down and out in Los Angeles, Mikey decides to crawl back to his hometown of Texas City, Texas, where his estranged wife and mother-in-law are living, just as his defunct Bella Thorne, thank you, Sleepy Cat, and Izzy. Everyone just heard the only. Okay, so let me just finish this, But just as his dysfunctional family seems to be making things work, Mikey meets a young woman named Strawberry working the cash register at a local donut shop. He falls right back into his old habits. So basically, Bella Thorne said that this is what was going on with Sean Baker. Sean Baker was like, no, I'm doing a different thing. And then we read this. Well, it's interesting. I'm curious. What the fuck? Sean Baker? That's not cool. I'm very confused on what happened there. But I don't know. I'm not accusing him of anything. I don't know either one who lied about what or whatever. Really don't. But it is interesting that he said that's not what he was doing. And then it's pretty clear that's what he's doing. Anyway. Thanks, Izzy. Yes. So I would say check out the Florida Project or Tangerine. They're both great. But I'm glad Sean Baker's making a new thing. I hope he clears up the whole Bella Thorne thing, because that's weird. So Patrick McHale, who's the creator of Over the Garden Wall, announced that he will be adapting the Red Wall books. I barely know what that is, but Netflix is really heavily invested in making a feature film. My heater is going off, sorry. As well as a TV series. What's interesting about this announcement, which was announced in Variety, is it mentions the books, it mentions Netflix wants to make a movie and TV series. It does not say anything about it being animated, but it does at the end of the article say Netflix has a commitment to animation, which is a weird way to phrase it. It sounds like they're heavily implying that it's animated, but they're not saying, hey, Patrick McHale is writing an animated thing about the Red Wall books. Like, what? I don't know. Their phrasing just makes me think like something's up with that. Like, he might just be like the architect of building like this world out and figuring out how to adapt it. Maybe they're sort of waiting for the script to decide what to do with it. I mean, it's about a bunch of like animals, so in a certain way, it's going to be animated either way. But I'm curious why they phrased it that way. It might be nothing. They might have just written it weird. That's a possibility. Or there's something to read into. This is one of those times where I say, hey, when we get back to this, let's see if this was something or if they just wrote it weird, which is a possibility. But I'm glad Patrick McHale is getting work. We got a quick kind of look and hearing about casting about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. It looks cool. I'm excited for that. It looks like a fun action kids show for like young girls and stuff, which I think we need, to be honest with you. Mike Judge apparently had 2 shows at HBO, which are Warner Media, which are not moving forward. One was a comedy called Quality Land, and the limited series A5 are not moving forward. Apparently, Mike Judge had signed an overall deal with Warner Media, which they extended after 2019, but because he's been so busy with other projects in particular, seems to be Beavis and Butthead is the main thing that's being blamed on this. Neither of these will go forward. So the limited series A5 and the comedy Quality Land, I have no clue what either of these are about, and I actually tried to look, and it was sort of hard to figure it out. So, 2 Mike Judge projects were canceled this past week. It sounds like it might have been mutual, or it might have been, I'm not exactly sure. He didn't say anything, so maybe he wasn't happy. I don't know, again. Where are we on this? We're pretty close to taking a break. Stanley Kubrick's there's a Stanley Kubrick film that was developed before he died called Lunatic at Large. That, I guess this is sort of trailers and stuff because there's a lot of quick things. Kubrick had projects that were developed that never went anywhere. One was Lunatic at Large, which is considered a noir crime thing. They're not releasing anything. I've heard a lot of these Kubrick projects being brought up. I've yet to see any of them actually be made into something. Maybe this will be. If it is, that'd be cool. There's going to be a True Lies show on CBS, directed by Mick G. They're doing a pilot. It is based on the movie True Lies, which I think makes sense that kind of an idea worked better as a movie in 1994, works better as a TV show in 2021. So that, there we go. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is ending after 8 seasons. I've barely seen the show, unfortunately. I think a funny show about cops, not something that could go on. However, at the same time, 8 seasons, not bad. So I wouldn't say it was like canceled too soon or anything like that when you have 8 seasons. Extreme Ghostbusters, I think I talked last week about how Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters, is now being uploaded onto YouTube. They're also at the same, and I mentioned that there was also an ad for Extreme Ghostbusters, which I kind of thought meant they were going to be uploading Extreme Ghostbusters onto YouTube. Well, I guess I was right. So they are doing that. So go to that YouTube channel, subscribe if you want to see the Extreme Ghostbusters episodes as well as the real Ghostbusters. I think it is the easiest way to watch them streaming free, unless Ryan wants to correct me. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure he will, and he's totally justified. Yes, Big G, the guy behind the All-Star music video. That's how I first knew him too. So I can't disagree with that. There's a Clue animated series at Fox with E1. So that's cool too. That sounds like a good thing. And that there is a King and I remake at Paramount, which, sure, I don't know what. That's another one. Like, are you gonna do better than Yul Brynner? Like, you're not. Just don't. If you ever think in life. You'll do anything better than you. They tried it with that Westworld show. That wasn't better than anything Yul Brynner did in the first Westworld. So, whatever. You're never going to convince me anyone's going to be better than Yul Brynner. Just never happening. All right, so 3 last things, and they're all... No, 2 last things, because I talked about one of them. That's true. I watched the... Nice ride. 2 things. There's a Paranormal Activity reboot. This one from Will Eubank, who directed The Signal, which I absolutely hated, and Underwater, which I didn't see, but is being written by Christopher Landon, who did the Happy Death Day movies and Freaky, which I still need to see. That actually could be a little bit of something, but it's like sort of a reboot of Paranormal Activity. There, at least one, I like Christopher Landon a lot. I think he's a really talented horror director and writer. I wish if he was doing a Paranormal Activity reboot, I'd be more excited. Supposedly he wrote a lot of Paranormal Activities, which I didn't know, but I think he has a lot of fun when he wants to. So I think he could do something cool with it, maybe, since he's like left and done these cool concept things. Maybe he could make a fun Paranormal Activity. I kind of gave up on that after a certain point, but I heard 3 was better. Anyway. And finally, and this was announced, and this sounds really cool, a Mr. and Mrs. Smith reboot with Donald Glover and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is going to be on Amazon Studios. That sounds like a fun show. I know they're friends and they both like working with one, or both were very complimentary to one another. So, I think that would work really well. And they're both like really great comedy writers. That sounds just like a great show. Sounds like a good show. All right, so 2 Obits. Oh, I forgot one. Hold on. I didn't write it down right. I know it. And okay, so one of the founding members of the Supremes died this past week, Mary Wilson. The Supremes is one of the greatest groups of all time, of rock and roll, of R&B, of everything. They're absolutely wonderful. It's probably a great group to listen to on Valentine's Day, to be honest with you. She was, any one of the Supremes made that group as magical as it was. And it's sad to have lost her. I think that was probably one of, just very sad to hear about that. And then on the Captain Marvel 2. What do you mean Captain Marvel 2? What about Captain Marvel 2? I'm confused by that. And then Larry Flint, who I guess I have mixed feelings about, but I did like The People vs. Larry Flint. That's a really great movie. I think that's, I know he's a champion of free speech, and he did legally fight for free speech, which you can't really disagree with that. At least if you disagreed. I don't know much about Hustler. I've never looked in it, so I have no clue if I should object to it or whatever or anything like that. But he did die this week. It didn't seem to be as big of a story as I thought it would, to be honest with you, but he was at least a little more interesting than Hugh Hefner. Milos Forman didn't make a movie about Hugh Hefner. Let's put it that way. But yeah. Yeah, Alex Menace, you're right. I think too many people do remember Diana and stuff. Unfortunately, she didn't get remembered as well, but she's still important. She was still part of the group, so, Okay, so I'm going to use the bathroom real quick, then we'll come back with the 2 segments, No Neck Joe and WandaVision episode 6, I believe. And, I'm curious what Austin meant with the Captain Marvel thing. Whatever. We can get back to that later. I'm going to put up, I don't know if this is really fan art. Is it fan art? I don't know. It's something. But, I guess it was like the big one most people saw, the Knockforce one. And I thought it was a cool image. So I'm going to put that up here while I use the bathroom. And it is done by, hold on, I'm sorry, Manuel Malera. Thank you very much for drawing this. I thought it was really cool. Everybody liked it. So, wait, where'd you go, OBS? So, let's show that. That'll be up, and I will be right back. Ugh, okay. Okay. Oh. I saw Ace the Wind Rider posted fan art, but that happened during the show, so it's a little... Okay. Hey, what's up? I'm back. Yeah, if you post fan art during the show, obviously going to be on the next one. So I'll do Ace the Winner. I haven't really... Let me check it out. What was this? What was this fan art? Sorry, I feel like this Shane Dawson's trending. I don't want to find out why that is. Oh, that is cool. Anyway, but yeah, I'll try to do it next week. I just thought that one was, pretty cool to post. I guess Knock Force fan art counts as me fan art because I was in that, am in that, was in that, whatever. Yeah, sorry for this one. I feel like it's cooler to have like more fun ones, and it's hard when you're like, have to talk about all the serious like thingies. You know what I mean? Anyway, I feel like this wasn't a fun news week. It was like, this got canceled. This is over. I did hear about the Captain Marvel thing, but Captain Marvel casting's weird because I didn't really know what that was. I'll just, I didn't, whatever. I also didn't get to look up the Shelley Duvall thing, which I wanted to read that and I just didn't get around to it. So you can't cover everything. You know what I mean? All right. Let us see. Where are we? Go down here. Let's talk about, so I'm going to talk about WandaVision, the latest episode, which I believe is episode 6. I'm going to write a spoilers thing in the chat. So if you don't want to learn about this episode, you haven't watched it, something like that, you can skip ahead. If you're watching this later and not live, there will be timestamps in the description, or you can scroll through and just go to the next thing. So you can do that. So if you don't want to watch this part, feel free. If you don't watch other parts, you can do that and skip around and go back to stuff and all that stuff. You want to do that too. I've noticed when I look at how people watch these that the views are all over the place. So clearly people are doing that in terms of where places are. So so feel free to do that. I encourage that actually. That's why I do those timestamps. Literally. So yeah, but I'll talk about WandaVision then. No Neck Joe. So I did not finish Kid Cosmic. I would like to keep up with it, but there's too many things I have to watch Malcolm and Marie, and that's whoa. All right, let me write Wanda spoilers. Also, if you are watching this and want to have the sound on, I'll wave at the camera, and then when I wave again, that means it'll be over. Anyway, all right, so I'm gonna drink some water. Hold on. And drink a smidge of Red Bull. So WandaVision. There we go. So WandaVision episode 6. This one was different from the other ones in terms of they were doing specific time periods, and certain shows, it's pretty clear in the second one they were doing Dick Van Dyke, but other ones were kind of a mishmash of a couple of shows. This is specifically Malcolm in the Middle, the kind of single camera thing that would take over. The only style that would become obviously more of a trend would be the Office Modern Family thing, less of what we saw here. But I liked what it did. Actually, I think this might have been a better idea if they just done specific shows, because this was entirely looked like Malcolm in the Middle the whole time, from music to performances to how everything worked. I haven't seen Malcolm in the Middle in a while. I watched that YouTube video the Blue Jay guy or whatever made recently, which was very good. But it felt entirely like a Malcolm in the Middle episode. Vision is a great Bryan Cranston, I guess. And it was a weird choice, I think, because it's not a specific trend. It wasn't like what you think of that era of TV, but it still is fine. I thought it actually worked for it. I liked you know, sorry. Uh, I sort of like what the show is now rather than what it was before, because when it was just the TV show parody, I thought it sort of lost its thread a little, and the kind of flow of this whole season is very strange. It like doesn't really move in a way that like gets you into it. It slows down. It feels structurally kind of a mess. And these episodes feel like it makes a little more sense. It a bit reminds me of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, in that like I like when you go to, the past episodes, but they have this documentary of people talking during it, and that's sort of like what makes it even funnier. And in this, it's like cutting to Kat Dennings and cutting to super excited for the King of Queens episode. That's true. Cheers to you, Bloxy. There you go. Uh, I'm sort of more interested in the mystery and how it works, and I wish we were getting more clues. Like, I'm constantly watching these episodes and thinking, like, where is this? Like, who is behind this? Is Wanda behind this? It's like, is it a different person? Like, where are we going? Who's that? It's just like I have too many like questions and not enough answers to really get you going through it. I get that it's like dark and weird, and I like those elements, but I do find like structurally the show is just like I'm constantly like more thinking about it because I'm reminded of it because of Twitter and online and everything, and less because I'm as into it. It wasn't like Mandalorian. Like I felt like every week I sort of had to watch, and this like personally it was like, oh, it's Saturday or Friday, like I have to watch Mandalorian. Whereas with this show, it feels like I'm culturally being forced into it. And I also don't agree with everyone saying like, oh, people aren't used to watching a show like this. It's just structurally it's not really where it needs to be. I think it just isn't really working, and I do find it having a hard time to grab me and so forth. But I do like certain creative decisions. Like Evan Peters is sort of a better actor, I think, than Aaron Taylor Johnson, a lot more compelling. I don't agree with like people saying because she says Kick-Ass that's referencing Kick-Ass, which is a movie they were both in together. Sure, maybe, but I don't I don't really agree with that. But it is interesting seeing the limits of whatever this bubble is, figuring out things about it, what's going on with it is really interesting. Like that's the fascinating part of the show. But I think what worked on this one is seeing them actually recreate a specific show. Like I think that was actually a better idea. It's like a better theory, because what if like how here's the thing, how would Wanda or how would anyone know the trends of old kind of TV unless you're from that era? And wouldn't she more know, oh, 50s is Ozzie and Harriet or I Love Lucy, and then you go to Dick Van Dyke, and then you go to the Brady Bunch, and then you go to like Full House or Growing Pains or whatever. You pick a certain show and you work in the style of that specific show. I think that would have actually worked better, and I think that's why this one might be sort of my favorite in a way. I like more of where this is going. And I like the kids in it, how they were how they were talking to camera, how they were emulating specific shots that were in Malcolm in the Middle, and how they used different single cam cinematography. If you didn't know, multi-camera for sitcoms is when you have multiple cameras shooting at once and you cut between them kind of like a live broadcast, whereas single cam is shot more like a movie with one camera, or I mean they have multiple cameras on set, but they they shoot one camera at a time basically, much like a movie. So that is the difference. And there's the heater again. I I like this episode more. I like where it's going. I like the mystery, and I'm curious what's going to happen to like Kat Dennings, for example, things like that. And I like the reference, like which one of you is the sidekick, and I guess they've all been sidekicks in various movies, which was quite funny. Well, it wasn't that funny, but I think with WandaVision, the main thing with it is it's trying to be this weird, different thing, and it's trying to be this big mystery. But I think we're getting to the point where you need to figure out what you're doing, or we're just going to be in this like crazy like mystery box thing, and you've almost like let it close a little too long. But they've made it in a way that I'm actually sort of intrigued, even though structurally I know I probably have given up in a certain regard, but I'm still curious, which is a hard thing to keep up when you're structurally sort of not working. But We'll see where it goes. I think the next 3 are supposed to be like an hour long. I'm hoping they actually answer some of these things and it's not just, interesting style exercises with them teasing, like maybe this is this person, maybe this is this thing or something. Who's that? What's in this file? Like, answer me some questions. And I think we've pushed this as far as it can go. I think we pushed this as far as it can go, and I wish they kind of come to the point where they sort of answer and resolve some of these things, because it's like the inferior kind of storytelling is becoming a bit of an issue. And making that work and compelling at this point is, to be honest, a skill, and I give them credit for that, because I think a weaker writer would have made this I would have given up at some point. So it probably shows like how well Marvel is at making these things, but we'll see where it goes. I'm still expressing a lot of concern, but I'm curious about the possibilities. All right, so hi, you can come back or unmute, or I waved. There you go. Let's see. End of spoilers. End of spoilers. The commercial was really cool. I don't think the Zach and Cody, I don't know if I agree with that, but all right. So let's talk about the second segment thing. No Neck Joe. They already have a Olsen for Full House. So what is No Neck Joe? I'm not specifically just talking about the original cartoon. If you look at, sorry. So I'm going to talk about No Neck Joe. No Neck Joe has an interesting history, and I know that Craig McCracken is known for his other short from his time in Cal Arts that blew up and eventually became the Powerpuff Girls. He also made another short that actually went on to become a different thing. Craig McCracken had a crazy successful run as a animation student in college, because No Neck Joe started in 1991 as a short with a bunch of gags about a kid who had no neck. He goes to various situations. He goes to the zoo. He gets teased a lot by bullies who make fun of him for not having a neck. Dracula can't bite him because he has no neck. He can't be hung in a western town. It goes through various things. It's kind of cute and funny, and then it's over. And he made this in Cal Arts. He submitted to Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Studio. Spike and Mike's Sick and Twisted Festival of Animation 1996. And then they asked Craig McCracken if he could make more of these things. They wanted more No Neck Joe. So he actually went and made more of these things. Now, there's sort of 3 eras of No Neck Joe, who is just this little blob thing. He has no neck. That's the whole joke. They're very quick. They're very cute. They're very quick and cute and silly and innocent and things like that, which seems to be what Spike and Mike originally, at least, liked about it. It's very much in the Craig McCracken style. The bullies look like they're from Powerpuff Girls. Even the logo, when it comes on, where it's like No Neck Joe, is done in the Powerpuff Girls-y way. It looks very much like early Cartoon Network Craig McCracken, everything like that. It's fun. It's a bit of a trifle of a thing, but it's cute and fun. I look at actually the first short as like a short you'd make in college that shows you could direct something. Everyone in the audience at the screening laughs. You feel really good about yourself, and you move on with your life. Well, Craig McCracken didn't get to do that part. So what happened is, in 96, they asked to make more No Neck Joe. He was busy with other projects, Powerpuff Girls and other Cartoon Network stuff, so he couldn't do it. But these were instead, the next group at least, were done by DNA Productions in Dallas, Texas, animated by Tim Hatcher, who would go on to do things for Book of Life and actually animate on Scoob, and Debbie Dunning, who I can't find much on because unfortunately her name is the same as the woman who is the woman on Tool Time on Home Improvement. So I'm very sorry. I really could not find anything on her. If you are watching this, I actually apologize. I tried. Basically, they made 4 more. These are sort of the same thing, but the shorts that Spike and Mike made, instead of one short control has like 4 or 5 different gags in it, because the original short plays as like almost like you're watching 4 different shorts, but they're quick. Instead, you get one gag per cartoon and they go on and so forth. Craig McCracken at least storyboarded these 4. I can say that for sure. They were fine. They were cute. They were not as, I think really the top of it, the height of it was Craig McCracken animated and directed in 1991. They were fine and cute and whatever. And you could kind of, I guess they play these between cartoons or kind of like a filler sort of thing. The 96 ones I sort of like, to be honest with you. Okay, sorry. We're a little, the 96 ones were a little funny. And then in 1998, in 1998, they made 5 more. Now, these look like they're done in Flash, and this is when the series gets kind of bad. It didn't seem like Craig McCracken was as involved. They do have one that I actually really liked where No Neck Joe's in sort of a death match, like wrestling thing. That one was a little better, but there's another ones where he gets violent. He starts getting angry. He's not this cute little No Neck Joe anymore. He's like this angry Joe, and he like kills a turtle in the last one. I was like, what the how did this character get here? And then they just didn't make any more No Neck Joes after that. It seems like it got to a point, Happy Tree Friends and all that were about to be popular, and so he had to make some craziness or something like that. I like these as like kind of like a weird character that Craig McCracken made that didn't really, that went on and had this like future that we don't really talk about. It's not Powerpuff Girls, it's not Wonder Over Yonder, it's not anything like that. It was like this film festival thing that he, happened to make. He didn't really pitch it. They came to him and wanted to see more of them. A lot of these are on the Lost Media wiki. Actually, it has all 10. A few of those are on Google Drives, not on YouTube. So if you want to see all the No Neck Joes, you can. Another person that worked on this credited on IMDb is Keith Alcorn. I'm not sure what he did. He's not actually on any of the cartoons that I could see. And what's it say? And that it is interesting in the where the fuck oh, there we go, sorry. It is interesting in the first No Neck Joe cartoon at the end he thanks Conrad Vernon and Mark Osborne. It's a fun little cute thing. I prefer the first one. If you are only going to watch one No Neck Joe, if you're only going to watch one No Neck Joe, watch the Craig McCracken thing. It just shows like how much potential he even had in his college shorts that people are like, well, we could make this and do more of a series. I think they actually could work as like station ID things, like cute little things you see on TV or something like that. But they don't really go much beyond that. No Neck Joe is kind of like a silly, cute little concept that should have never been more than a one little short and became a lot more and went on till like when he was knee deep in the Powerpuff Girls for some reason. I hope Craig McCracken got a good chunk of change for it. I would love to see No Neck Joe in other stuff. In some ways these shorts like sort of only work if you've seen them. Like there's one where he dreams he has a neck, but it doesn't really set anything up very well. It just feels like a premise that only worked in his one little short very well and never reached the same potential other than the wrestling one, which I don't really like the 98 ones, but that one worked pretty good. It just feels like something that should have only been what it originally was and got stretched out beyond what it ever should have been. But I think it had a better run than most of shorts like this get to have. And maybe it was a little more deserving of that because you look at the animation and you look at the design and you look at the sweetness and you kind of almost want it to. But the better part of you probably knows it probably just should have stayed with Craig McCracken and Cal Arts and not gone on to, decapitate a turtle or whatever. All right, let's do some questions. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. And let's just do 2 Patreon questions. Okay. No, there's not going to be a No Neck Joe movie. I agree, Nina Garcia, about No Neck Joe. I think. Oh, Keith Alcorn was a producer on Jimmy Neutron. Thank you, TuneJ723. All right, so Sinram. I have 2 Patreon questions, and I will answer questions from the chat. Sinram asks, which entertainment professionals were you most disappointed to learn is a bad dude? And here are my choices. Number 1, Whedon. Number 2, Kevin Spacey. Number 3, John Lasseter. I would say John Lasseter. I was disappointed and I was surprised. I didn't know his history before that. So I was most disappointed in John Lasseter, I would say, because I loved Pixar and I was very surprised by it. Austin asks, question for Movie Crap. When a director cut of a film comes out, Snyder, Donner cut of Superman 2, the new cut of Godfather 3, etc., is it worth reviewing since the same film but with changes? And do you think a director cut can fix it, i.e. make it good? I don't actually think most director cuts do. I used to think that when I was young, but some of them do, like the Terminator 2 Judgment Day director's cut I actually like more. But I'm sure there's other examples. I think most of the time they don't. It's just the director, felt like this would be the best way to tell a story and they want to get that out. I will probably review the Snyder cut just because it's such a thing. I would actually like to review the Richard Donner cut before the Snyder cut, but I feel like that's not going to happen. In terms of the Donner cut and the Snyder cut, it's more worth it because people are like, does this work? And it's more of a consumer alert thing almost. But I think it's worth it. It depends. Godfather 3 I didn't because I hadn't seen Godfather 3 in so long it wouldn't have been a good review. So I think it depends, or like the Apocalypse Now cuts are always sort of interesting. So it's cut dependent and how many people are actually interested in you talking about the cut, and are you interested in talking about the cut? With the Snyder cut, I feel like people oddly are. All right, let's get to Cornbread was first. Cornbread asks, should Cara Dune's character archetype, strong and cool person, should be filled with a cool wolf person who would be the same species as the Cantata Wolfman? Obviously, you're right. It should be the Cantina Wolfman should replace Cara Dune. I'm fine with most people say Lucy Lawless, but Cornbread, I will go with what you said. So have you seen Gruen Lagann? No, I don't think I have. Zane Powers, thoughts on the creators trying to bring back Dan Versus? I didn't really ever watch Dan Versus, so that's actually why I didn't talk about it. I didn't feel like I'd have much to say, but congrats. I hope they do. Nathaniel Foga, best Smash Mouth song. Either Walking on the Sun or All Star. I feel like it's one or the other. Zane Powers, can you list off all the all the high points and low points of each Disney CEO? Walt Disney, Don. Okay, here's my thing with this is like, that's a very complicated question. That's not an easy question, Zane Powers. You could stop asking that one. I can't. That's like an all night thing. I don't know. Probably buying some stuff, I guess. Super Drive Minion asks, any plans for Valentine's Day? I think we're just ordering in. I've got people flowers. I got a cool card for Sophie, a Tangled card. I'm excited to give it to her. How should they reboot No Neck Joe? They shouldn't. Will this COVID era ever end? I think so. And I'll answer Nathaniel Fogus, and then I'll do Sinram Super Chat. Thank you for the Super Chat, Sinram. How many Kevin James movies have you seen? I think maybe just Paul Blart and like Pixels. Maybe 2 or 3. Oh, Hotel Transylvania. Then we're getting into 5. Let's say 5 or 6. Okay, going down. Did I miss Patreon questions? I think you just did Sinram, but I did answer it. I did answer yours. Thank you for the Super Chat, Sinram. Cheers to you. I'm sorry you got here so late. Apologies. But they're right before this if you can rewind it. Where are we? Why are there two Wall-E coyotes, and why does one never talk about that? That's weird. Is that true? I need to fix So if you didn't know, one of the things about the M1 thing is a lot of programs don't work with the Silicon chips I have. So I need to figure out the program for the Logi to stop the zoom in, zoom out thing. Doesn't really work very well, and I have to figure out a patch that. Anyway, I need to figure that out at some point. So that's why it's doing that. I apologize. No one's complained, but who knows? Zane Powers, who is your second favorite MLP pony after Apple Clumps? Slider Dash? Why not? TuneJ703, did you know Craig McCracken got a job offer for season 1 of Ren and Snippy? He declined because he wanted to finish college. Didn't know that. In retrospect, that was a smart move. But I can understand wanting to just do Ren and Snippy because that was so hot at the time. Coral Tender, have you seen Judas and the Black Messiah yet? No, I have not, but I am going to review it. I'm going to review all the HBO Max day and date movies. Did you skip leg day? I guess I did. Ability, can Kevin James play live action no neck show? You know what? I think he would. I think he'd do great. Zane Powers, any comments on the iCarly reboot news? Good for them. I watched it a little bit. It's a fun show. I think you could do more with it. Obviously, that's become more of a thing than it was at the time. So I think you could do some interesting stuff with it. Who should be the people to swap faces in Face Off 2 from Austin? I don't know. I've heard people say it shouldn't be 2 white guys this time, and I agree with that, but I don't know. Who was it? I saw 2, and it was like a good... I can't think. Maybe, let's say... Because you got to do a crazy one and a straight guy. Let's say Pedro Pascal and John Leguizamo. I think that would be cool. Is there a theater you want to visit from Ace the Wind Rider? Nathaniel Fogel, I'll come back to you. Most of the LA theaters I've wanted to visit, some weirder than Alamo Drafthouse, my local theater. I'd like to visit there again. What is Kevin James' most underrated film? I could not, honestly, maybe Becky was that one? Let's say that. I didn't see it, but let's say that. Cornbread, does it bug you nearly as much as it bugs me the way more people got upset at Disney about Gina Carano? By the way, you misspelled her name in the description. Did I? I don't think I did. Did I say Carano? I think that's spelled right. It's not Corrado. For losing their jobs mid-pandemic. That's true, but I think Star Wars is... I'm going to check the Gina Carano thing. It's not Corrado. Anyway, not plausible. Which Star Wars character best deserves an unnecessary spinoff? The Wolfman from the Cantina, probably. Or, I would like the history of Cloud City, to be honest with you. Have you seen Doom, the documentary of Corman's Fantastic Four? It's on Tubi. I didn't know it was on Tubi, but I'm going to check that out now. I have not seen it. That's interesting. Thank you very much, Sleepy Cat Productions. What was your favorite film of 2020 and least? I can't say. Maybe Eurovision, because we watch it so many times. Do you know Dewey? I don't know what that is, but yeah. Question, best Hatsumuki project, Minecraft. What? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, Bruce Parker. Bloxy asks, which meme do you want to see a movie about? Which meme? I don't know. Sorry. How do you want to be when watching the Snyder Cut? Probably just on my phone on the subway, to be honest with you. Is the Swedish chef offensive to Swedish people? From Zane Powers. I don't know if it is. Have they gotten upset about that? I don't know. Zane Powers, will Sonic sweep the award? That would be so much better than what I'm expecting to happen. Bruce Parker, should Jared Leto's Joker be retconned to Melvin, brother of the Joker? Yes, that's amazing. I like that. Nicholas Updike, what do you think about Aquaman playing Knuckles in Sonic 2? If it happens, I think it could be appropriate, but I don't know if that will. And if they're going based on the games, it sounds like Knuckles wouldn't show up in 2, but we'll see. You have Prime, then watch 10 versus. Okay, good point, Ryan. Not plausible. Would Chris Nolan hate me if I watch Interstellar on a 15-year-old iPad Nano? I feel like he wouldn't be super into that, probably. Question, you think AMC is gonna last? Oh, damn it. The Sheepdog, Wall E. Coyote, and the Roadrunner one. Oh, thank you, Discount Viscount. Cheers to you. Sorry, I'm trying to get to everybody. Because we have the time. I want to use it on you guys. Answering as many questions as I can. Hold on. Where were we? Okay, Cartoon Freak. You think AMC is going to last to next year? I hope so. Because it would really hurt the theaters. I don't know. We'll see. When are you... Where were we? Fuck. Nicholas Updike. Are you going to play Super Mario Brothers Fury? Probably not. Who should direct a Citizen Kane remake? Probably Kevin James. No, Brett Ratner. Will you vote in the Kids' Choice Awards this year, the award ceremony with the most integrity? At this point, maybe. Jordan Salafalo, who is Sophie's favorite My Little Pony? Which pony is the stuffed animal? I think we have the purple one. Don't show Paleo this. Apple clumps. Everyone make apple clumps trending. Can we do that? Probably not. Are you going to play Final Fantasy VII? Probably not. What's something to cause you to have a jazz singer I have no son moment with your kid if there isn't? Nothing, probably. That's funny that you remember that. Or you've clearly seen the jazz singer. Nathaniel Fogo, how would you rank most energy drinks? I only drink Red Bull sugar-free and only when I do the streams, so I would rank them above regular Red Bull, which I don't like anymore. What's the worst clip show you've ever seen? I've definitely seen bad ones. I would say like some of the old like TV ones, like where they go like top 10. Like after VH1 did like a top 100 artists, so many other channels tried to do top 100 TV shows, top 100 TV dads. Like it just got really stupid in the 2000s to a certain point. It was probably one of those. Jim doesn't understand memes, guys. They scare him. Well, I don't know, like, what... So the thing is with the memes... I'm assuming you mean memes that would make me want to see a movie, but I've seen all the movies that people make memes of. So, I don't know what meme would make me see a movie. That's the bigger question. Are you excited for the Hawkeye show? A little. I'd like to see more from that. How did you avoid getting hung up on politics? Oh, like today, it sort of gets like, I don't know. It's just like during the election I'd read about it a lot, but most of the time I just want to read about movie stuff anyway. So, what do you think about Velma getting her own show? I talked about that earlier, Nicholas Updike, but I think it should be cool. Nathaniel Fogo, what do you think happened to that tuned out show Robert Zemeckis was making? I believe it's still happening. I haven't heard anything otherwise. Question, favorite theatrical movie based on a cartoon, for example, like the Simpsons movie or Spongebob. Maybe Cowboy Bebop? Nina Garcia, will you ever be a gamer, Jim? Probably not. I think that's everything. Did I get everybody? Did I get everything? Any plans to see Pepe the Frog documentary? Probably not, although I've heard it's good. I'd like to see it if it's good. Maybe I will. All right. I think let's just end it here. Let's end this. Let's end this popsicle stand, I guess. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to have Wsndavision tomorrow. I don't think there'll be anything on Monday. I know I'm going to do Minari, put that review out this week. And other stuff, No Neck Joe will be at some point during the week. And then, be a steady flow of videos this week, I guess. Also, if you're not subscribed, a good reason to is because I've been doing instant premieres. I should have mentioned that earlier in the show. I did one last night for Worst of the Year. Did one for Alf. I don't think I'll do another one till next Friday, but those can happen. So it's a good way to hang out in the chat and all that stuff. Anyway, you all have a good night. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being as supportive and as nice as you are. I'm hoping to do a more fun show. I'm sorry this was so many of like Blue Sky is over, Gina Carano's awful, Joss Whedon sucks. This is like not a fun news week. And I realize that when I'm doing it, I'm like, this news week sucks. So I'm sorry this news week sucks. I don't control that. But hopefully it was a good discussion or me talking. I hope you enjoyed it. But anyway, you all have a good night. I will see you all next Saturday. Have a happy Valentine's Day because it is now Valentine's Day. And I will see you all next time. And subscribe if you would like to. Have a good night, everybody.